Join me. Together we can rule the galaxy far from sun.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
What is up, everyone? This is Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 86. Today, we're going to be talking about Chapter 3 of the Book of Boba Fett, Streets of Mos Espa, or what some people are calling Mos Vespa, but we'll get to that in a second. Again, Happy New Year. If this is your first time tuning in, me and my son Trent break down the latest Star Wars stuff. Unfortunately, Trent couldn't be here today, but we have a great show planned for you. Happy New Year. It's still we're 13 days in, but it's still a Happy New Year. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. And we're just going to really dive right into it. A lot of the interwebs have been very interesting the last 24 hours about this episode. And why don't we just kind of go right into our main topic and talk through the Book of Boba Fett. All right. So we get the opening scene of Boba Fett, and this is a Bor monk. So if you don't know what a Bor monk is, I got a little Lego guy right here. Very simple design, but he is a monk that we see in Return of the Jedi, and this was in the trailer. In fact, this is how the trailer starts for Book of Boba Fett, is that we saw the Bor monk scuttle across the screen there, and it's just a sect of people that, for enlightenment, they take their brains and put them in robot spiders. Can't make this up. This is Star Wars. And this is the same thing that C-3PO runs away from in the early beginnings of Return of the Jedi when they enter Jabba's palace. So we get to see one live and in color on a TV series, which was awesome. But really, this is it. Again, we're continuing right where we left off from last episode. And it opens up with I guess you would call him 8D8, who is our torture droid from Jabba's palace, is explaining to Boba Fett and us what's going on, and that Bib Fortuna couldn't handle the weight of what, no pun intended, of what Jabba could do. So he split up the duties of Mos Espa and over a couple species. So we had the Krrsantans, the Qualish. Now again, a Qualish are they come in a couple different forms, but really the most famous of Qualish is Ponda Baba, or Walrus Man. A Krrsantan is a reptilian. We saw those in Mandalorian as well. The most famous Krrsantan is Bosk from Empire Strikes Back, and I'm trying to think what the other. Is there another one? No. So there was those two, and then a Bib Fortuna. So it's like the city divided in thirds, and it seems like the mayor, Mayor McCheese, is like more of a figurehead in Mos Espa. So 8D8 kind of explains all that, and then we get this, I would say, a watermonger, I think is the title, water merchant. Comes and says, "Hey, I got these hooligans, and they're messing with my water supply, and they've stolen from me." And Boba, and saying he's basically saying, "Hey, we have protection, now we don't have protection, and people don't think very highly of Boba Fett." So this is where they have to pay a visit. And so they take a nightly stroll into the streets of Mos Espa. And we essentially get this is where it gets all kinds of crazy. So we get a little cybernetic youth gang, if you will. And they have... female human is, I believe, called Drash, and then Scad. So we have a couple street punks, if you will, messing with the water, and they said, "Hey, we don't have any work, and we don't have any credits, and so we have to steal to get what we need." And so Boba, the street merchant, just happens to be around and says, "Hey, they owe me, I think it was like 1,300 or 1,500 or something like that, 1,300 credits." And Boba's like, "Here's 500 and call it a deal. And now you're gonna work for me." So you're like, "Oh, okay." So now we have the cybernetic punks street gang with these Vespa looking like scooter little things that a lot of people got hung up on the colors. I'm not really too hung up on the colors, but we'll get to that little spot next. But he essentially hires the street gang to work for him. So there you go. So he's employing the youth on Mos Espa. So then we get back to Jabba's palace. We get to see another wart, and again, that is like a frog-like creature that sits outside of Jabba's palace, and he grabs somebody with his tongue, a little rat thing, and he burps. That's the bit in Return of the Jedi. We got to see a wart last week when they were combing the sands of Tatooine. Spaceballs, pun intended or not, but yes, they found a wart and they're able to get him. But now here's our third wart, and some creature grabs another creature, and then the wart grabs them and burps. So there you go. We got the burp gag going on, which is a nice little throwback to Return of the Jedi. So here we have our flashback. So anytime Jango is in the back attack, he is just dreaming about his past, and it's a convenient way to tell us a little bit of what's going on. So obviously in last episode we got how Boba became a true Tusken, in a sense that he's been accepted by the tribe, and he's one of them, and he's got his gaffi stick, and he's ready to go and be a Tusken Raider for them. So he is on a bantha. I love all these shots with the bantha. I love banthas. I just want banthas as a pet. They are so fun. And he goes on a long journey. So he takes off, and he is going to pay a visit to the Pykes. So he gets to I want to say he's going to Mos Eisley, and that's where we get a quick shot, little shout out here. We get a little Mando tie-in here. So we see somebody put stormtrooper helmets on the Pykes, on these big spikes, and then we get our pit droids and Pelimoto. That is the one that's in Docking Bay 35, I believe, that helps Mando out a couple times in Mandalorian. So it was a nice little shout out, and we got to see her briefly as Boba is walking by Mos Eisley. So he goes to Mos Eisley. He talks to a couple Jawas. Apparently, this is the best thing about Star Wars is some people can hear and listen to, or not hear, but interpret what everyone's saying, and then some can't. So, Boba's fluent in Jawa, and he asks where the Pykes are. He goes visit the Pykes, and this gentleman, the Pykes are very fun, and he said, well, we can't have, I talked to my superiors, and we can't have protection on with two people. So he's talking about the swoop bike gang that we have seen present in the first two episodes, and now we have the Tuskens really protecting the Dune Sea. So Boba's like, hey man, I will take care of this and it won't be a problem. And he's like, great, sounds great. Looking forward to doing business with you. And that's how that went. So he goes back from Mos Eisley back to the Tusken Raider camp. And this is where we see the Speederbike gang destroyed the whole camp. Man, I thought this was a great scene. I really did. I thought we get, there's one more flashback we have again of Boba seeing Jango leave. You get the sense of he was all alone a lot with Jango doing his bounty hunting business and leaving Kamino, and really the clones, the Caminos were like his only like friends, if you will. And maybe the clones, I don't know if he had interaction with the clones. It's really hard to tell. That backstory is not really present, but you could definitely sense that when he became part of the Tusken Raider clan, that he had he had a family. He was like adopted into them, and that's pretty cool. I'm cool with that. It was a cool thing. And so when you finally feel like you found somebody that understands you and you are part of this tribe, and then you come back and they're gone, and that's like a really hard thing. We see him do a proper burial, or really like a pyre for the Tuskens, and that was it. It was a very kind of emotional scene. I thought it was done really well. And then we get snapped right back, and then we got a fight, brothers. We got a fight. We got Krrsantan. Black Krrsantan is back. If you're not familiar with Black Krrsantan, he is featured in a Darth Vader comic run. He's got beef with. He does a couple of jobs with Boba. He's got a little beef with Obi-Wan. He's a great character in the comics, and they brought him back last week with the twins, with the two Hutt twins, and now we have Black Krrsantan just mopping the floor, literally, as he rips Boba out of his bacta tube, out of his sleep. And they're just wrestling. They're just having a good time. Well, not really Boba. Boba's not having a good time. And so Krrsantan is slamming. He's got some brass electrified blast knuckles. He's doing all the great stuff. He's choke slamming, bear hugging, and it's a pretty big fight. And he pretty much has the upper hand on Boba. Boba, again, you can tell that, he needs the bacta to not only heal, but, needs a little help with the armor. Not to say Boba could not handle his own, but it is a Wookiee, and you kind of need a little bit more, armaments to take down the Wookiee. He finally gets hold of, like, a gaffi stick, and he's getting the upper hand. And then the Street Bike Gang comes in, and so they kind of hold their own on Krrsantan. Then the piggies come. Love me some piggies. Now we got Wookiees and piggies wrestling. We got some Gamorreans and Wookiees wrestling. And then we get a full-blown, like, double spear to Krrsantan does a double spear to the piggies. They fall down the stairs. Then we got Fennec finally waking up, and she takes care of business, and they drop him down the shaft of the trap door for the Rancor pit, and he falls down there. It was a great fight. Loved it. I loved it. Was a great transition between dream sequence, we get the flashback, and then we get right into reality, and it's Krrsantan. Loved it. Oh my gosh, it was a great scene. Yeah, it was fun. So now Boba is, I gotta make a move. Now the Hutts are trying to get after me, and I'm trying to, he's basically trying to say, hey, I still have to state my claim. And Fennec's like, well, let them come to you. And he's like, they already did with Krrsantan. What am I going to do? So they're about to leave, and we got the Hutts coming. So the Hutts come. They open up the door. How you doing? And they want to pay tribute to him, I guess, as we're sorry that we sent Krrsantan, and now we have Krrsantan captured. He's in some binders, and we got a Rancor. So they give him like a baby Rancor, and it's fantastic. This is a nice cameo of one of Robert Rodriguez's closest friends, Danny, and so we get that little cameo, which is cool. And he's on his own repulsor lift sled, which is nice. Which you would think that the Hutts would be on a repulsor left sled, but that's a topic for a different day. So they give him this gift. They're saying, we're out because we can't trust the mayor, and we'll see you later. This is a Dust Bowl, whatever. You can have it. And then Boba's going to give Krrsantan back, and they're like, we don't want him. You can do whatever you want. Send him back to the gladiators or whatever. And Boba cuts him loose. He's like, see you later. Never just don't work for the Hutts again. They're not really good people. And Krrsantan says, I'm exiting stage right, and there he goes. Very cool. I don't think this is the last time we're going to see Krrsantan. I'm hoping for a Boba team up. That's what happened in the Vader comic. But I'm also hoping that we see him in Obi-Wan. That'd be great. So we got a new Rancor. Boba treats him like a dog. It's fantastic. We have a little explanation of like they talk about the Night Sisters of Dathomir, where they used to ride them. And then Boba makes his comments, I rode Larger Beast. And yes, that's a nod to the holiday special, which is awesome. Super cool. So we have that, which is awesome. And yeah, it's just a fun little bit. And he's like, I want to ride one. So we get this cool kind of little thing with the Rancor. So I'm hoping we see Boba ride a Rancor. That would be a nice little trip into Mos Espa for for a little interest, with a little Rancor. So that's pretty cool. So we got all that. Great. Everything's going fine. And I think this is where majority of the people in the interwebs have a problem with is now they're going to go pay a visit to the mayor because now they got to figure out, okay, what's going on with what's happening here. We got to figure this out. And they go to the mayor's office. We got the clerk guy is awesome. I don't know who this guy's name is. I just want to hang out with that clerk all the time. He's fantastic. Not very good people skills. And then we have the major domo that is a total tool. He's like, hey, yeah, he's booked. We can't see him, but let me see if I can make some rearrangements in his schedule. Then Boba, he understands that he locked the door. They go in there, and the major domo gave him the slip. Gave him the old slip. So now Major Domo goes out the back door. Mayor's nowhere to be found. Mayor McCheese is out the door. And the Major Domo is on the run. So then Boba sends his Mos Espa Vespa Street Gang to the rescue. Again, I have no problem with the speeders. I don't have any problem with the KitchenAid mixer, Power Ranger looking speeders. I have no problem with that. I mean, like, kids, they like to bling things up. Mos Espa, Mos Eisley need a little bling. There is not a lot of color in Star Wars, especially in a sand planet. I kind of like that. I'm cool with that. The whole problem with this scene is just like, there's no sense of speed. Like, I hate to be like Top Gun, but I need the need for speed here. It is, I like the chase. I just don't like that it felt like it was super slow and it didn't move too quickly. And the major dome, like, I know they're in the streets and we're not in open racing or anything like this, and it's not pod racing. I totally get that. But you got a speeder and you got these other little Vespa speeders, and it should just be a little bit, I don't know, exciting and fast, and it just wasn't that at all. And that this pulled me out a little bit. I felt like, again, from a production value, I don't know. It just seems like that should be done. It should have been, I don't know. It just wasn't as cool as I would have liked it to be. But they go on the chase with the Major Domo, the cybernetic freaks. They kind of get they got a little, we got like, like a foot thing that they're pounding on the engine. We got a laser guy, and Drash comes in off the top, does a little bump on the speeder, and then Major Domo guy gets, I don't know, hit with a bunch of fruits, and it's very kind of like Biff in Back to the Future with the manure, and yeah, he gets stopped. So then Boba finally comes in with his jetpack. Now we only see it like a little bit. Like, I'm hoping we see a little bit more action with the jetpack, but Boba basically lands and it's got the jump on the Major Domo. And yeah, that's pretty much the bit there. So they got the Major Domo, and then the next thing is we see this cool, like, kind of Star Cruiser looking thing coming in, and we got some Pykes. We got lots of Pykes coming off the Star Cruiser, and Shand, who's the one with the cybernetic eye, gives him the drop and says, hey, we got some Pykes coming in off the Star Cruiser. And Fett says, we got to get ready for war. So that's how it ends. And the credits roll. There you go. Yeah. Overall, I did enjoy this episode. I just, the Mos Vespas are just, it's a little rough. Other than that, loved it. I love the Krrsantan fight. It was fantastic. And we got a Rancor, so that's even better. I think this is probably the last little bit that we'll see from the trailer. And then that's when he's talking to the Krrsantans and the Qualish. So I think that's what we're going to see next time. And obviously we're going to see Alliance there. Yeah, I'm hoping we see what that looks like, because Boba's got two biggies, Assassin, and a 8D8, and that's pretty much it. He doesn't really have an army, so I'm wondering how that's going to look, what's that going to look like, and kind of just like where this series is going. It's interesting. I'm engaged, but it's like I'm waiting for that hook. And I don't feel like I got hooked yet. Boba Fett, by far, is my favorite Star Wars character. I'm okay with this growth part as far as, like, again, he can't be just a bad guy, but also I was looking for not only an anti-hero, but also just a little bit more of that ruthlessness that we saw a little bit in Mando. And so I'm hoping we get to see that happen so he can establish his claim on Mos Espa. And again, I don't know where this is really going to go, what that means for him as a person, and then just like his relationship with Fennec. Are we going to be able to see something bigger? I think that's where I'm kind of looking forward to something a little bit bigger, just to see that piece in the galaxy. And then also just a little bit more growth with him, and just obviously I want to see a lot more use of the armor. That's what we all, grew up as this action figure. Just want to see him flying around. There's that, really cool scene in Mando in the Tragedy, I believe, where him and Grogu are flying with this jetpack and all that fun stuff. I just want to see a little bit of that with Boba, just have him fly around. I mean, we got to see the rocket fire with Cobb Vanth in season 2, but I want to see Boba fire it. I just want to see him use some of the gadgets that we know that the armor has, and that would be fantastic. So there you have it. Chapter 3, The Streets of Mos Espa with the Vespas. Yeah, it was good. It was good. But yeah, you can find us on the socials everywhere. Big T, Little T Podcast on Instagram, BLILT Podcast, twitch.tv, Big T, Little T. You can find us there. If you're watching us live, thank you so much for watching us. We're trying to do a little bit more streaming. We did a little Madden stream and then found out the mic wasn't working. These are things that we're just trying to learn. But yeah, it's super fun. We're going to start doing this kind of like a little Madden tournament on Twitch. So we're having fun with that. Playing a little Forza as well, which is great. And then played a little bit of Rubber Band Party with Ellie. And we've been playing that a little bit, which is fun. We call it the wobbly game because they're little potato sack kind of games. It's kind of like, what was that one game? Beat Gang or something like that. But this one, you get to kind of steal money from cops and stuff like that. Super simple, super fun. Something that is a great little casual play. You can play against each other or with each other, which is fun. And they got kind of cool little power-ups and stuff like that. So super fun, super just cash. But yeah, we're playing a little bit of that, digging some Forza. Forza is so deep. There's a lot of great stuff in there that we're trying to do. And then Trent and I are messing around with his RC car, so we just put up a video there. Check that out on YouTube. He just got a new car for his birthday, and so we're just having fun doing that as well. It's been a little cold in Chicago, so we haven't been able to get out. Yeah, we had some ice over the weekend, which is always fun. But yeah, hopefully it'll warm up a little bit so we can get out there again soon. But yeah, check that out on YouTube. And hey, if you want to comment, rate, give us a review on Apple Podcast or anywhere where you find your podcast. Give us tweet us a screenshot, and we could drop you a couple stickers, some great swag, or you can email us, bigtlittlepodcast@gmail.com. That's where you can drop us a question. Tell us your thoughts about Chapter 3 or what you like about the Book of Boba Fett. That would be super cool. And then we got to end with this, Now remember, truly wonderful the mind of the child is, and may the Force be with you always. We'll see you later. Peace. Bye.
Hey, stop! Little girl, stop! Look, I need to borrow your hoverboard. Where is he? Here. There! He's on a hoverboard! The board! Give it board! Get him!
Yeah, we got him!
Something very familiar about all this.
better run! Shit.
Test 1 2 1 2. How you doing? How you doing?